Welcome to Long Island MacArthur Airport. Thank you so much for joining us here today. As so many of you may have already seen, our newest airline, Breeze Airways, just announced new service to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Richmond, Virginia. So if you have not visited either of those locations, put that on your agenda of things to do this summer. Breeze will now have 7 different destinations that they're serving from our airport, so we're so excited that they continue to add service, and oh my gosh, we are growing again. Not only do we work hard to offer choices to the Long Island community, but we also have been working very, very hard to secure new federal funding to improve the level of service here in our airport. Today, we celebrate the new Ground Transportation Center, which is a state-of-the-art center, and I hope all of you have seen it because it's at the other end of our terminal. And we are announcing the kickoff of $26 million in capital improvements to our main terminal building. These are just a recent addition to a series of capital improvements that we have been doing over the last 7 years, which equates to $100 million worth of capital improvements that our customers, our airlines, and of course, all of you are experiencing here at the airport. I'd like to introduce to you the visionary behind all of these projects, Supervisor Angie Carpenter. Please join me in welcoming.
Thank you so much, Shelley LaRose Arkin, our airport commissioner, and Deputy Commissioner Rob Schneider. This wouldn't be happening without their unparalleled commitment to seeing this airport grow in an appropriate way. I am so glad that you're here, and thank you for joining me in welcoming our elected officials who are here and special guests in attendance today. Your participation and support means so very much to us. We would not be here today without the energy and enthusiasm and the sheer advocacy that all of you bring to our wonderful airport. I'd like to recognize the elected officials that are up here with me this morning. And let me start with the county, our Suffolk County legislator, Steve Flottery. It was easy for him to really embrace our airport because he did so when he was a member of our town board for so many years. And speaking of our town board, someone who has been a steadfast advocate for our airport, and that is Councilman John Cochran. Captain Cochran, thank you. And to my right here, we have Councilman Jim O'Connor. He likewise too has been very, very supportive. And next to Jim O'Connor is one of our newer councilmen, but not our newest, Councilman Jorge Guadron, who too has embraced the airport and been very supportive. Councilman Guadron. And we have members of the business community and community leaders with us today. And I don't have a formal list, but looking out there, I see members of our airport advisory board who have been like little missionaries out there, you know, talking about our airport, using our airport. I see Frank Bolton, Dwayne Desu, thank you so much, and any of the other members of the advisory board for being so very, very supportive. Also, from the business community, the Ronkonkoma Chamber of Commerce, their president Ed McNamara and Vice President Michael, thank you so much. Also, from the civic community, we try to be good neighbors to the civics, and they have been very appreciative of our efforts here at the airport. And from the Greater Ronkonkoma Civic Association, Sal Di Napolitano and Larry. So to all of you for being here, we're very most appreciative. And to local contractors, 20 of them who have participated in the design and construction of these many projects. So, we're grateful to be here today, and all of you surrounded by the beginnings of 2 new airport improvement projects, celebrating the completion of the 3rd. It's no secret that airports across the country must actively compete for airline service and destinations. And we work hard to do this for Long Island. every single day. But this effort has become even more challenging with labor shortages, economic uncertainties, and higher fuel prices. As of July, however, we are back to pre-COVID, pre-pandemic levels with a number of average daily seats available to Long Island customers. It has been a challenge for sure, but this airport during that whole pandemic was open every single day. At ISP, we recognize we have to compete for customers, and to do this, it requires improving our terminal and facilities with the amenities for our loyal customers and the 500,000 visitors that come to Long Island annually. Through this temporary wall, you can catch a glimpse of the much-needed improvements, and there are still more to come. So let's talk about these projects. Island MacArthur Airport received $14 million to replace the main terminal. Mechanical, not to replace the terminal, but with mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems that are more than 30 years old. These funds are from the Build Better Infrastructure Fund for airports. We had to compete for it, but we got it. Our airport was awarded the largest allocation of funds for an airport in the category for small hub. And again, that is with the dedication and work of our Air Service Development Team and certainly the leadership here at the airport, our commissioner. As many of you may already know, these funds were not allocated equally to each state, so we're proud to bring these dollars back to Long Island and make a difference in this economic asset of our airport. We also want to thank those lawmakers and the FAA leadership who made it possible. So again, to Senator Schumer and certainly Assemblyman Smith and Gandolfo, all of our state delegation, our senators, and certainly our Congressman Andrew Garbarino. Project details include enhancements that will make our airport more energy efficient, safer, cleaner, more comfortable with the replacement of fire systems, HVAC systems, air purification, updated plumbing fixtures, and so much more. You know, even though the infrastructure here was dated and old, it was spotless, and that really is a credit to the team here at the airport. Our second project is the $12 million of terminal improvements that include a new roof, more secure and reliable baggage handling system, and the replacement of the vestibule doors, who sometimes do not always work properly, so we're glad to see that happening. The project also includes new wall coverings, flooring, and more that will immediately give visitors and locals a pleasant, welcoming welcome to reflect the beauty of Long Island. You can see some of the renderings to my right here. In addition to the $26 million in improvements that are underway, we have also are here today to officially dedicate the plaque to my left, which will be mounted in the Ground Transportation Center, that too an $8.4 million project. This week we complete the final component, a new covered walkway that connects the Transportation Center with the terminal near the TSA checkpoint. Now some of you may be wondering, how does this all affect the possibility of the North Terminal and the economic impact, jobs, and potential air service that it would bring to our community? As you all know, significant development projects take time. There is much to still be done. More community meetings, feasibility studies, the FAA evaluation, research, planning. That's all before a single shovel of dirt can be moved. However, this remains an important vision for excellence and prosperity for our entire region. To a great degree, the North Terminal development will depend on the determination of the people in this room and the community support for the project. We need to keep working together to unite our business community and encourage your colleagues, family, and friends to fly MacArthur Airport. So having said all of that, if there are any questions on any of this, and the one thing, preceding any questions, I want to be very outfront and transparent. There's been much in the news lately about the fact that this airport was declared a Superfund site. That's been something that's been coming for years. It has to do with the foam that we are required to have to put out fires, God forbid there should be one. And it has not in any way impacted the drinking water. There's no health hazard whatsoever. So I want to be abundantly clear out there about that fact. But because we have social media nowadays and everybody's out there talking and chirping, we want to make sure that you have correct and accurate information. We're working very, very closely with the DEC, with the Department of Health, with the Suffolk County Water Authority, our environmental consultants that we have on board and have had on board for many, many years. So to make sure that everyone has accurate information, we will be convening a public community information session on March 2nd at 5:30 right here at the airport. You'll be able to park, we'll validate your parking, there'll be no problems with that. But we will have the DEC here. They're the ones that are really in charge of the entire project. The DEC, the Suffolk County Water Authority, the Health Department, and of course the airport. And the town will be there to facilitate anything that is needed, but really it is the DEC who has the answers. So mark your calendars, March 2nd, we will be here at 5:30. So with that, are there any questions? Yes?
How does ridership right now compare to pre-pandemic levels?
I would say that we are at pre-pandemic levels. Would that be correct? Yes, we are. Certainly not where we were maybe 10 years ago, but we will get there. And that's an important fact for people to remember. You know, as we work to enhance service here, and everybody loves Island Airport. We heard it this morning on interviews. News 12 was here interviewing people, and they love the airport, but they want more service. But we've got a long way to go to get to the service that was here maybe 15 or 20 years ago. We have the capacity. The cost of employments here are lower than our neighboring airports in the city, and certainly the experience is far kinder, gentler, and pleasanter than it is anyplace else. Yes?
When you say pre-pandemic levels, do you have a number? You know, say how many passengers come to the airport family or every year?
Shelley, you want to answer that?
She's whispering in my ear, but
I'm sorry. It's 600,000 annual enplanements. And so a lot of the carriers that serve our airport today are actually using larger aircraft than they did pre-pandemic. So our frequencies may not be as often, but our aircraft are actually larger. So the number of passengers that are coming in and out of the airport are pre-pandemic.
Larger airports, airplanes, yes, but much, much quieter. Yes?
Very briefly, could you tell us what the North Terminal is, what it is?
The North Terminal is, you know, for years, and I'm going to say probably 50 years, people have said, why is the terminal where it is, and why isn't it in the north end of the airport adjacent to the railroad station? So that's basically what the North Terminal construction would be, the relocation of the main terminal to the north end of the property, of the 1,300 plus acres that we sit on here, but adjacent to the railroad. So someone coming in or out of the city can literally walk out of the train station and walk over to the terminal. Even though in today's world, it's a brief little cab ride to get from the train station to the airport, it's a far better experience where people can just walk out and walk into the terminal. Any other questions? Okay, let's get on with it then. Thank you so much for coming out today. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. We have one little memento because a lot of members of our community who have used this airport for many, many years have an affection towards our carpet. But we're not giving out samples of carpet because it's over 30 years old. But what we have for you today is a little postcard with the carpet on it and a memento that reminds you to use Long Island MacArthur Airport. So I encourage you to come get one whenever you get a chance.
Thank you so much, Shelley and Rob, and to everyone for coming out today. Again, it demonstrates what we all know, that we hold this airport near and dear in our hearts. So thank you.